Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and this week we are in the kitchen with Tatsu Arai at Tatsu's. Tatsu, thank you for inviting us into your lovely restaurant and into your kitchen. So, question. You're from Japan, and you opened a French restaurant. How did that happen? Apparently it was very amusing when you did it.
Well, I started working in a French restaurant in Tokyo.
So in Japan you began?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then I was working like a couple of years. Then I was thinking to dream to have a own restaurant.
So you had a dream to have your own restaurant. Here you were cooking in a French restaurant in Tokyo.
Yes.
And then?
Well, then I got a job offer to the United States, Chicago.
Good food town, yes.
At the French restaurant.
Yes.
And then the first time they told me to French restaurant in Chicago.
In Chicago. Mm-hmm.
But I said, America always hamburger, hot dog. That's the only I can think about it. So I didn't think to come to the United States. And
you were afraid to come to the United States because American food to you meant hamburgers and hot dogs, and you were wondering what a restaurant in Chicago was doing having French food. So what did you do then?
Well, then I refused that. Was that they offer me, mm-hmm. And I said that if France or Swiss or Italy, I'm interested to go there, but not in Chicago. So I refused it.
Had you been to America yet? No!
That's that time.
Your image of what we ate here was just, okay.
Yeah. And then they told me that a couple of weeks later, and they still didn't find the chef to send it to Chicago. Mm-hmm. And they asked me, why don't you go? I said, well, then they tell me about the background of the chef.
Yes.
He was in Maxime, working in Paris for 4 years.
Maxime's famous restaurant in Paris.
Name was
so you gave us a chance. You gave America a chance and decided that you thought maybe we could cook some French food. You were surprised, weren't you? Yes. Yeah. We're glad you made that decision. So had you been trained as a chef when you were in Japan?
In Japan, with all the basic cooking, and also I learned a lot of the new cooking in Chicago.
French cooking must be your passion, because you could have chosen other kinds of cooking.
Yes. Japanese, Italian,
yes, and not Japanese though. You wanted French. All right.
That's I started. So.
And
I'm still doing.
It's still do. Okay, so then you went to Maxine's in Chicago. What brought you to Kansas City?
Well, different states.
Yes. Did you travel much out of Chicago?
No, I was.
Because you were just working all
Spain, Chicago.
Yeah. You hadn't seen Kansas City yet.
And then I'm surprised Kansas City.
I know.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
Flat.
Flat, yes. But, and I always say this about Kansas City, we always surprise people with our arts and our parks and our statues, and it's beautiful. So you were surprised. People usually are when they come to Kansas City. So you helped your friend open up his restaurant.
Right.
But then how did Tatsu's happen?
Then I worked for them like 2 years. Mm-hmm. And then, well, that's enough.
Yes, time to move on.
Time to move on to my own. So I decided to open a restaurant.
How long has Tatsu's been open?
30 years.
You've really made...
1980,
yes.
April.
You've really made a commitment to Kansas City and to French cuisine in our city. You're the go-to place here for that, and we appreciate your devotion to French cuisine. So what do you want people to experience when they come into Tatsu's? What do you create for them?
Well, most make me happy. The customer tell me that after dinner they enjoyed it.
They enjoyed
and
it.
They tell me to be back.
Yes.
That make me happy. Working hard, long hours.
It's long hours. It's hard. It is hard work.
But if customer say that, everything fine.
You know, and you know, we need to remember to do that. We as your customers, when we have a wonderful meal and we'll say to the people we're with, wasn't that delicious? We forget to be sure to tell the chef that that was delicious because that inspires you. It's the best. I know the money matters, but saying thank you really touches you in a different place.
That makes me happy.
It makes you happy. You established your signature dishes, and they've come to want that. So, but at least you experiment, and every once in a while something catches on, and your customers appreciate it and come back for it. And I think we should make one of those signature dishes now. We are going to go into the kitchen and we are going to prepare salmon stuffed with a seafood mousse wrapped in puff pastry on a bed of champagne cream sauce. And you are going to see Tatsu and I, mostly Tatsu, making this signature dish. Come on with us. Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and we are in the kitchen with Tatsu at Tatsu's. Again, thank you for inviting us into your kitchen. I'm about to create art. I've actually never done anything quite this artistic, but I'm under the guidance of Chef Tatsu. Chef?
Yes.
Oh, and we are making a salmon stuffed with a seafood mousse, covered in puff pastry on a bed of champagne cream sauce. And I'm going to help do it, and so can you. Okay.
Okay.
What am I doing? Obviously,
Well,
our salmon.
here, and I'm gonna slice this. Let's see.
I'm gonna probably let you do
okay,
that.
I do this one.
Unless you think I could do one. Oh,
Slice
very
this.
thin. And what kind of salmon is this?
This one is Norwegian salmon.
Okay, I'm gonna try
You wanna
this because
try?
I've never done this before. Keep your knives sharp, and the object is not to go all the way through, so I will be opening it. So I do another one just like that.
Yeah, little
yes,
thin.
a little thinner.
Thinner.
See, this is where your Japanese background, all the way through.
Yes.
Mine doesn't look like yours, Tatsu.
Yeah, little
But I'm
too
going
thick.
a little
But we
too
can
thick.
pound it.
We're
make
gonna
small.
pound it. That'll
Yeah, and
teach
then-
the salmon for letting me cut it. Okay.
That's
Well,
good, that's
it's
Okay, let's make up one more.
one more. Okay.
Okay.
You know, we have celebrities coming in to taste this. Mayor Berkeley and his wife.
Yes.
So it has to look extra special good. Probably
Okay.
don't want to use the one I did. Okay.
No, we can use the
We
one
can
too.
use that one too. Okay.
Okay.
How pretty is that? And look at that.
So I put them away.
All right, so the salmon is cut, and now we're preparing the seafood mousse, and that's what we're going to stuff the salmon with.
Use the plastic.
Oh, so use a piece of plastic wrap.
And this one. That's yours. It's a big one.
It's a big one. Hearty appetite.
Like
Okay.
this. And we overlap this.
Is this to pound it with?
Yeah, then pound it.
I have to tell you, this is good. It's a very constructive way to manage stress. You can also put these fillets in a Ziploc bag if you're afraid they're going to travel somewhere.
Then open this. So pretty much nice
So,
and pretty.
and this is thinner than it would be just cutting it. It's
Yeah, even when
beautiful.
you cut the thick, it's pretty much thin.
You know, also we've maintained the shape of a fish
Right.
with this, which is
Then-
part of our artistic
Then
presentation.
put in
What's this?
Cajun seasoning.
Woo.
Just
Okay, a little
just
bit.
A little bit.
Some more seasoning. And what kind of salt do you use?
Just a little salt.
Is it table salt?
Pepper salt.
And what was that?
White pepper.
White pepper. And I know a lot of people working with fish prefer white pepper to black pepper. So we've cut it, we've seasoned it, and now we're going to stuff it. Tell us about the
This is seafood
mousse.
mousse.
Oh, gorgeous.
Put in shrimp, scallops, and I got a halibut.
So halibut, shrimps, scallops, And what have you done? Roasted them?
No,
No, raw.
Raw.
Yes.
And mix dry.
Okay.
And chop them up, put in the food processor.
So you put it in a food processor to get it to like a pasty consistency.
Yes, right.
And then what do you add to those 3 fish?
Salt, pepper,
Salt.
very light, and white egg.
The egg white,
Egg white, yes.
salt, pepper, and
white.
egg white.
And I added some cream already.
We're gonna add a little bit more cream.
To finish.
You know, you don't eat this every day, and it's just a little bit, and it's not a hydrogenated oil, so enjoy it is the message. Enjoy it. And look
Make
at that.
sure that the ice in the bottom.
So you put one bowl on top of another, keep it well chilled, and then mix it.
I
Is
do
that beautiful?
I do in most time in walk-in cooler.
Well, for those of us at home who don't have a walk-in cooler, just put your bowl in another bowl with some ice in it.
Yes.
But I bet it's relief from the hot kitchen.
Right.
Yes, okay. This mixture is gorgeous. It has a consistency almost of whipped cream cheese.
Bring the cream. I mean.
So this amount, gorgeous. All right, we have stuffed the salmon, and now we're going to enclose it and wrap it in puff pastry.
Okay, let's see. This one just roll a little bit down.
So you want to spread it out a little bit.
Yep.
And now what are we going to do with these little guys?
No?
We're going to let the plastic wrap help us. Okay, I have to tell you, this is reminiscent of a sushi roll because I've seen it rolled like this before. So I know this is a French restaurant, but I detect some Japanese influence in the technique.
Yeah, maybe that's true.
Beautiful.
That's easy.
Easy works. There's no reason not to do easy.
Right.
Now we have it ready for the puff pastry.
This one, the side.
Okay.
I use the foil, and I put in a little bit of butter on each
So you've let just regular butter, let it get a little soft so that it's workable.
The pastry just come out, it doesn't stick.
Yes, so it won't stick, and you want your puff pastry as cold as possible.
This one is a sheet puff pastry.
Yes.
So we just roll them up just a little bit, the light thickness. And
So this is the thickness we're looking for. And it's very cold. You want to keep it as cold as possible, not to touch it very much, because the warmth of your hands is going to make it more difficult to work with. Their little homes are ready.
Then this one right on top. An egg.
Now did you mix it with water or is it just egg?
Just egg.
Just egg. And the egg here acts as the glue for the puff pastry.
It's still a little cold.
It's pretty cold.
Wait a little bit more.
Now, do you keep your puff pastry frozen and then you let it thaw out in the refrigerator?
So you then.
Okay, I'm sous chef.
This pepper on top so it doesn't stick in the hand.
Yes, and you know what it does? It keeps you from having to flour the puff pastry as much, and it doesn't let it do what it needs to do. Look at that little fish. You're really pressing it. Okay, we don't want him to escape. He's trapped now in his puff pastry. It's a wonderful place to be trapped is in puff pastry. And it is cold. So you know, if you have a warm day in the kitchen, you want to make sure that you keep the pastry as cold as possible in your hands. I've actually run and work quickly, and I've actually put my hands under some cold water to make sure. The shape of a fish with his fins. There's some knife skills running. Oh, goodness. Oh, my. Okay. So I'm following the shape of the fish. He's already laughing, which is not very encouraging. I'm already kind of... Okay, so here's fin number 1. Aha. I didn't do it exactly the way you did. This is the fat fish with the odd fins is the one that I did. So see, the moral of the story is, if you mess up, just fix it. And like Julia Child says, who's to know? So, a wise lady and an inspiration to many of us. Tatsu promises that when you come here for this dish, I won't be the one in the kitchen making it. So there you go. Oh, how cute is that? Back to the egg wash, this little bath. And this is going to give wonderful color.
Right.
just
a mixed
it's just
pastry.
beautiful. So it serves as the paste and, if you will, the color, the finish. Puff pastry is a wonderful thing. You just cut a strip and then make it into a circle.
This one I use cream chips tip.
The pastry tip.
Yeah, use the other back side.
So whatever you have in the kitchen that is that shape, use it to cut out your puff pastry.
All right.
All right.
This
So
one,
we're gonna have some little gills and fins and
here.
cute as this. Oh, my very own.
This one.
I do leaves for Thanksgiving with the dough. And it's not, honest, truly, it's not that hard. And it's fun. It's a good thing to engage your children. All right, now
we cut,
one more set of
cut
decorations.
the line to make sure it looks like fish.
Yes, we don't want to be confused. Okay, but you're not cutting all the way through here.
Yeah, use the back side knife.
So don't use the sharp side, and be careful not to cut yourself, of course. Now we've got fins. How pretty is this? I think he did this first. He's actually left me alone to do this. He's a brave man, Tatsu. And then the rest of the fins, and then on the bottom. All right. Are these guys about ready to go in the oven?
Yes.
Now, what temperature is the oven?
450.
450, so they cook hot and fast. Are these convection ovens?
No.
The beautiful little fish that have been wrapped in puff pastry and stuffed with the seafood mousse are in the oven. And now we're making the bed of champagne cream sauce that they're going to be swimming in when they arrive on the plate to you. Chef?
Yes. Okay. This is shallot.
Okay, so champagne, some white wine, and some white wine vinegar, and just chopped up some shallots.
Yes.
Cook them off until they reduce.
Yes.
And they should be this color.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So we use this one also.
Yes.
Fish stock.
Oh, and fish stock. So we
put in this one.
Yes.
This much.
Yes. And then to that.
We put on the fire again to reduce all the juice.
So it'll be on the fire until all the juice in this, and it looks like there's an herb running around. Is that rosemary?
Rosemary, yes. Pero we need a little more thickness. We add the gourmet, which flour and the butter.
Now, this is an equal portion of flour and butter, and normally when we make a roux, we do that on the cooktop. But this is not. This is actually mixing those two ingredients, equal parts of flour and butter, in a small mixing bowl, and that becomes the thickening agent. And you don't cook it, you add it to the mixture. All right. So now this has all the ingredients, it's thickened, it's had the butter and flour added to it. Be sure to mix the butter and flour thoroughly before you put it in here, or you'll end up with lumps. All right, so now we're plating the meal because we know we eat with our eyes first. And what do we have here, Chef?
This is carrots.
Carrots. So you're adding some color with vegetables.
Yes.
And how have you prepared these carrots? Ooh, they smell sweet.
We put on a lot thyme.
Thyme.
And sugar.
Sugar. I can
Salt and pepper and bay leaf.
And what's your liquid? Is it water or stock?
Water.
Just water. So these carrots have been cut, put in a pot of water, and slow cooked with thyme, salt, pepper, sugar, and a bay leaf until they're just tender. And now for some green on the plate. Really, just fresh broccoli steamed.
Yes.
And this is the color you want your broccoli to be, bright green. Here's the champagne cream sauce, which has been run through a strainer, and it's going to be the bed for our salmon that's been wrapped in pastry and stuffed with the seafood mousse. Oh, it smells heaven. Here comes the main dish. And look, the pastry has popped, It's turned golden from its age wash. The next little fish.
Here you go. Okay, this is the last one.
The last one. And which one did I do?
This one.
Yeah. You can still tell. It's
There you
not
go.
Tatsu's artwork.
Like a flounder.
Okay.
You can say flounder.
Flounder, I can say flounder. This one's a little bit bigger. He was at a big feast when he was swimming in the ocean. I think we're ready. We have celebrity tasters ready to taste this.
Okay.
Okay, Tatsu.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and I am at Tatsu's with Tatsu. We have just been in the kitchen and prepared one of his signature dishes. It's salmon stuffed with a seafood mousse, wrapped in puff pastry on a bed of champagne cream sauce. Chef,
Yes.
what should we drink with this delectable dish?
Well, I recommend the Chardonnay.
A Chardonnay.
Yes.
Tell me why.
Well, the stuffed salmon champagne sauce with
Yes.
cream sauce go with it. It's kind of creamy, buttery taste. So I recommend the Chardonnay with buttery flavor and oaky.
So the buttery, oaky flavor of the Chardonnay goes well with the buttery champagne cream sauce.
Yes, right.
We've got a buttery theme going on here. Tell you what, we have two very distinguished celebrity guests. They are Mayor Berkeley and his very lovely wife, and they're going to come in, taste your signature dish and the wine that you have selected with it. Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and we have just been in the kitchen with Tatsu. We prepared a salmon stuffed with a seafood mousse, wrapped in puff pastry, and served on a bed of champagne cream sauce. It's been paired with the Chardonnay by Tatsu, and to taste this delectable signature dish, we have invited celebrities from Kansas City, Mayor Berkeley and his beautiful wife, Mrs. Sandy Berkeley, and their granddaughter, who's here visiting from Las Vegas, Ashton, have all come to taste this dish. Tatsu, is there anything you want to tell us about the dish before we taste it? I see.
Well, I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. Okay, so now we taste. And it's been served obviously with sides of steamed carrots and broccoli. Beautiful.
It's so pretty. I don't want to cut into it.
Okay, you know why? Because we eat with our eyes first. Yes? And so that's why we take special care with the way the food looks.
It's made in fish form also, which is very cleverly done.
Oh, Mayor, you should have seen me cutting away. I mean, Tatsu's the expert, but it was actually fun to do. The flavors are delicate, even with the richness here. It has a very light taste.
Not heavy.
It is not
It's
heavy
very
tasting at all.
Carrots are good, too.
Yeah, it's not
No,
rich.
true.
It's very.
You know, that little bit of sugar to bring out the natural sweetness in the carrots, and it doesn't take much. Really, it's a great compliment to this dish, and the colors are gorgeous. What about you? What are you tasting? And I know you've had this before,
Yeah,
which
it's-
is probably why you said yes so quickly when I asked you to be a celebrity taster, but
Well, it's a wonderful dish, and it really is the type of thing I particularly like. I like salmon a lot, and I like shrimp, and I like scallops, and it's just a perfect blend as far as I'm concerned.
and Chef had said something about the buttery flavors he thought were complemented because this is a bit buttery and
Yeah.
oaky. Are you?
Yeah, I
yes?
agree with it. It's very, very good combination, and thank you for your great skills. Really.
Well, thank you for
I
coming.
know it's been virtually 30 years that you've been
Yes.
here.
30 years.
I think one time my aunt had her birthday, I think it was her 90th birthday here, and she had 5 or 6 of her best friends who they all grew up together, and they were all in their 90s, and they were all here. And it might have been even her
Memories.
90 might have been her 91st, I don't know.
But she chose to be a Tatsu.
To be here, and they were all pretty.
You always know it's going to be good.
So the consistency.
See, that's why he's been here so long. The consistent, it's always good.
So
You can
it's
always count on it.
30 years, and we did ask Tatsu how a Japanese chef ended up cooking French food. And
There's in the car.
I know why. And Tatsu has told us that that was how his cooking experience began, and he just stayed devoted to French cooking. He wouldn't even come to America at first because he thought all we did was eat hamburgers and hot dogs, and how could we possibly have French food in America? Now he's contributed to our enjoyment of the French food. Tatsu,
Always good.
thank you for inviting us into your kitchen and for
Thank you for
30
coming.
years of outstanding French cooking. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So,
Cheers.
to life, cheers.